Welcome to the Pinfall, brought to you by Region Sports, your local source for wrestling in the region. I'm your host, Danny Bell. Let's get into it. So, East Chicago brought all the thrills, brought all the heartache, brought all the heartbreak. A lot of really good wrestling during semi-state. I was glad to be there. We had some really good representatives that made it through that are going to end up really performing well down in Gamebridge. We're going to go through those tonight. We have a lot of different wrestlers that you wouldn't normally see in there, some unranked wrestlers as well. Um, During state this year, we'll have two female wrestlers at 106, Heather Kroll from Northeastern, and we'll have Juliana Ocampo from New Haven. Two amazing wrestlers who decided to wrestle with the boys rather than the girls. Glad they did because it gives us an opportunity to maybe see history because it's the last couple times we'll get a chance to see this. We have 56 Friday matchups between the East Chicago semi-state wrestlers. Okay. The 15 of them I feel are insanely huge. They're really key matches. There's 33 unranked wrestlers in the state championship this year, which is really cool because no one expected them to be there. So the sky's the limit for a lot of those guys. There's also 11 undefeated wrestlers. Now, some of those are in the same bracket, so one of them's going to end up with a 0, and one of them's going to end up with a 1. We'll see which one ends up with what. But everything that I do tonight, all the rankings and everything that I give to the wrestlers, they were all established before sectionals even started. So if you think to yourself, like, why is he saying this guy's number one when this guy has beat him multiple times? Well, that's because these were the rankings before the sectionals came out. And as always, I'm going to be biased towards the East Chicago wrestlers because they're the region wrestlers. Any one of the wrestlers who are representing the East Chicago semi-state, I'm going to be biased towards you because this is basically a hypothetical situation. No one knows who's going to win, but we cover the region. So I'm going to be pulling for my region guys. And so we're going to focus strictly on the region matches. And we'll start off here at 106. Our first match is Cruz Huerta. He's got number 11 wrestler wrestling Juliana Ocampo. Now, she's number 1 in the state. That's a tough draw for both of them. Juliana would have rather seen a better, wrestle, someone easier to wrestle on Friday night or Friday afternoon than Cruz, because Cruz can bang with any one of them. This 106 division is loaded with a lot of underclassmen, and Juliana is not one of those underclassmen. She's one of the big dogs, being that she's a senior. This is going to really be a really good matchup right on Friday, right on the afternoon, right in the morning, the first session. That quad is one of the toughest quads in the entire division. Okay, or not just the 106. I'm sorry, the entire state. There's 13 total losses. On paper, this quad is the best quad. You've got number 11, number 1, number 3, and number 4, all in the same quad. That's a tough quad. Whoever gets through that quad is going to be battle tested for that next day. Our next one is going to be Chase Michaels versus Joey Warner. Chase Michaels is from Portage. We've got Chase coming in unranked in the state. Most of these rankings, all of these rankings that I'll be using are just strictly state champion or state rankings, not the semi-state rankings. Chase has Joey Warner, and Joey's number 14 in the state. A lot of the wrestlers that have been wrestling in this region are used to wrestling better wrestlers. So Chase has seen a lot of really good talent. I wouldn't be surprised to see Chase do really well in this situation and pull this off. He's going to do a really good job in this because he's coming out of that Portage room, and they're all really good with their philosophy, and they're really tough especially on Friday nights. They're not Calumet Friday night, but they're definitely Friday night. Our next one is going to be Westfall. He's got a really good draw. He's got a unranked wrestler in Ramon Sierra. Now, Westfall's coming in at number 12. Sammy the Bull. There's been a couple Sammy the Bulls that run through Crown Point. Westfall is really good. I speak to his father all the time. Sammy's really good cheering section for his son. Very supportive. Um, I see Sammy pulling this through. He's going to have a tough one because in the other side of that is Heather Kroll and Case Bridge. But I still feel he could pull that quad off. Our next one is Julian DeLuna taking on Reed Wicker. Now, DeLuna is number 23 in the state, and Wicker is number 10. Wicker's tough. If DeLuna can stay smart in the first period, maybe into the second period, he's going to do really well with Wicker. Wicker is a fast-paced wrestler. He likes to tie up. If he can be smart with the ties and create bad angles for Wicker to make his shots, I think that DeLuna's going to really do a good job. I see him having a really good chance of pulling this off, being that, I know it's rankings number 23 and 10, but stylistically, I feel like DeLuna's got a really good chance in this one. And I'm really pulling for him on that one as well. Moving into 113, right off the bat in the first quad, you got Xavier Acuna, another Portage wrestler, taking on Keegan Dressler. Acuna's number 20 and Dressler's number 9. This is gonna be a really good match for Acuna. He's long, and wrestling Dressler is kind of compact and a lot of strength moves, if that's what I'm looking for. Acuna's really slick with his technique, so I could see Acuna pulling this off. The bad thing is that the winner of Acuna versus Dressler gets Case Bell. So that's another one of those situations where if you get out of that quad, you're ready to go. I could see that'd be really cool to see Acuna taking out Dressler and then taking out Bell, and then running that Portage gauntlet like they usually do. Portage always has somebody down there in state that's doing really well. Our next quad, you got Lincoln Parsons. He'll be taking on our own Colin Strayer from Crown Point. Colin's 13 and Parsons is number 7. This is going to be fireworks. This is one of those I really want you guys to pay attention. It's one of those key matchups that I was talking about. The 113 matchup, and it's let's see, I forgot what bout number it was. But pay attention to the Lincoln Parsons versus Colin Strayer. That was going to be awesome. That matchup right there is really good. Then we have Nash Burke. He's not ranked, and he's got number 2 in the state, Peyton Shuttle. Now, Shuttle is everyone. If you've been watching him, he's been in the limelight pretty much for 3 years straight. Nash has his work cut out for him right there, but Nash is one of those guys that may be unranked, but personally, I could see him around 16 at least. So regardless of his ranking or lack thereof, this is a really good opportunity for him to shock the world here. He's if he can win this one, if Colin takes this one out and Nash takes out Shuttle, we could see both of them. And I'd like to see, honestly, if Acuna can knock off Bell, I could see all of our guys from this weight class from East Chicago moving on to the semis. This is a really good weight for the East Chicago semi-state if they're on their A game. Now, sometimes, as coaches know, everybody goes in really good. You get down there on the mat, and it's a lot hotter on the mat, and the nerves, everybody's a little bit different when you're wrestling a state. Then you kind of relax, and then you work it out. And hopefully it's not after their first match, it's before their first match. But Nash has got to work it out with Shoto. Noel Verduzco and Cole Freese is in our last quad. I honestly think that as good as a lot of the guys are in here, you got Noel ranked number 3 in the state and Cole Freese an unranked wrestler. Noel's coming out trying to make a statement as a freshman. He really wants to be one of those 4-timers. I can see Noel being a multiple state champ, but if he wrestles the way we all know he can, the way he stepped it up from regionals to semi-state with the same match, from 7-0 to a tech, this kid knows how to turn it up. And now there's a lot more people going to be paying attention to him because of he's going in with a goose egg. He's one of our undefeated wrestlers. I'd like to see Noel do really well here. So he could face Rex Moore in the blood round. So if that could be a really fun one to see right there, somebody to really test Noel to see what's going on. I would look forward to that Rex Moore matchup. Moving on to 120, Joseph Mendoza. He's got himself a tough one right off the bat. He's got himself Revan Dickman, and that's number 19 versus number 1. Another one of our guys are going to end up having to face a number 1 here on Friday. Kind of a tough matchup for him, but as much as people are going to look at the 19-1, if you watch Mendoza wrestle, he's in every single one of the matches. So I wouldn't see any other reason why he wouldn't be able to do it. You have in the next one, Gavin Lewis and Cam Meyer. Gavin Lewis is number 3 in the state, and Cam Meyer is number 5. Those two right there, killers. That's another one of those key matchups that I want everybody to pay attention to because number 3 in the state versus number 5 right off the bat. That's a placement round matchup, and we're seeing it on Friday. That's a really good one to see. Pay attention to that one. That one's going to be nice. Then you have Lincoln Underwood versus Royce Malone. Now, Underwood, another Portage wrestler. They got a few. I think they have 6 of them out here. Coach Colza put a nice little post out about his little killers. Number 9 versus number 2. Lincoln's number 9 and Royce Malone's number 2. Don't count Lincoln out of any match. Out of any match, he learns from his mistakes and he doesn't make them again. So that's a really good thing about him is that the progressions of his mistakes are going to end up leading into opportunities. Don't sleep on Lincoln to win that one as well, to steal one of those from one of the big seeds. Now, our last one in the 120 weight class is Chance Smith. He's from Mishawaka. I'll be taking on Mason Getz. Now, Getz. Was that Goals? That's Goals. I apologize, kiddo. Chance is 28-12, and he's a sophomore. He's an unranked wrestler. He's taking on number 7. I watched Chance at semi-state, and there's a lot of opportunities for him to get points in the first period. I can't remember what match it was. And you could hear his corner, talking him through it. And then next thing you know, the same opportunities came up in the second period, and he was scoring no problem. So he's one of those kids that can make the adjustments right off the bat. Don't be surprised if he gets to steals the win right there at number 7. Moving on to 126. We've got Angelo Vargo. He's going to be taking on Chase Yant. Now, this is one of those key matchups again because Vargo's tough, man. He may be number 8. He's going on against number 6. These two could be 6 and 8 could still easily win this whole thing and knock off one of the bigger guys, or at least put some, points on him, one of the really better wrestlers. Don't sleep on either one of these guys. This matchup right here is going to be key. Pay attention to that matchup. And our next one is going to be Eli Brody and Matt Maldonado. Another one of the key matchups. Matthew is a dog. It's fun watching him. He's just like his brother. Brody's number 9, Matthew's number 4. Throw them all out. This weight class, you got Gavin Gendris. He's the big dog in this weight class. But everybody underneath him, you could see anybody being underneath the lights. They're definitely loaded in this weight class. And pay attention to the Brody versus Maldonado match. I see Maldonado winning this one. And the good thing about this is I feel Maldonado is probably one of the tougher ones in this quad. That's why I feel the same thing about a couple of the other ones. Vargo, if he gets through Yant, he's going to end up having to taste Ryu. And that's a tough match right there. So that's another one of those quads. If you get out of it, it's really good. But I think Maldonado could really take this one over and win that one. Another Portage one's in our next one. He's number 20, Cam Woods. Cam Woods is going to be taking number 11 Eagles. Now, I have this year. I saw him freshman briefly on 2 matches. Really tough wrestler. He looks bigger than he actually is. He moves fast too. Cam is one of those guys though you don't want to see. Cam Woods on a Friday is why did I draw this kid? It's always at stake, always tough. It seems like toward the end of the year he seems to get better and better and better, and that's another one of those Portage wrestlers. Our final quad is Gavin Gendris. He'll be taking on Richard Rogers. Richard Rogers is number 18. Gavin is number 1. Gavin's going to be furthering his talents at Purdue University, go joining a few of our other studs from this area in Purdue. They're really putting together a good squad there. I like to see these Indiana schools start to pick up on these Indiana boys. We're really tough. Gavin doesn't really have a problem I see in his first quad. Nothing personal, just I'm going to be biased in these, and he's one of our guys, and that's one of those that's kind of easy to be biased on. He's going to be tearing it up. There's only one unranked wrestler in this weight class, which is pretty cool. There's a couple of them that have 4, but a couple of them, there's not a weight class that doesn't have at least one unranked wrestler in it. That says a lot about the talent that people really can't see. Indiana Matt can only rank 25. When it gets past that, I mean, it's hard enough to get to number 25. It's pretty cool to see how accurate they are with their rankings too, because if you're looking through, one of the guys in there made it through. All the other guys, they expected them to be in there because Indiana Matt kind of had them on there, and they make it a little bit easier to find the wrestlers and stuff like that. And kudos to those guys, I appreciate it. But we're moving on to our 132s. We got Lane Horn, number 4, taking on Trip Hazley, number 16. Lane's gonna take this boy out. Nothing personal. Lane, I watched Lane wrestling at semi-state, and that boy's tough right now. I see a lot of points in that one. Our next one is Sam Mosier. He'll be taking on Maryville's Warren Brown. Warren Brown's number 18, Mosier's number 10. Could be a really good match. The bad thing for Mosier is that I think he's underestimate the strength of Brown. Brown has the technique, but he's got a lot of strength to go with it. So he can not just muscle through things, but with good technique on some things, he can really muscle those with good technique. And that's kind of scary in situations. And he gets stronger throughout the match. So you can see him how he gets amped. And that's not a guy you want to draw on Friday or afternoon or Friday night. I see him doing really well in that one. We have Griffiths, Landon, Westonfield in the next quad taking on Drew Walden. Now, this is another one of those really good matches. You've got Landon Westonfield at number 9 and Drew Walden at number 12. 9 and 12 kind of evenly matched in there. Westonfield's took a couple L's, lessons in state series, but those are the only losses he's taken all year. And I'm sure he's going to try to avenge a couple of those in, here down at state, because there's a couple of those guys that he's lost to still here. Right now, though, I don't see a good path for Walden after this. Landon should be able to take him out, no problem. But that goes my bias again. But this should be a really close match. I can see this one I know I said no problem and then said close match, but that's just going to be the bias coming in on this. I'm really pulling for all of our guys. I want to see an East Chicago semi-state guy in every single one, um, just to represent the area and show that out of the four regions, Region A is the one you want to be in. There's two undefeated wrestlers in this weight class too. Uh, that's going to be tougher for a lot of guys. Lane Horn's one of them, and your other one is Jake Hockaday. Now, Jake Hockaday is going for his fourth state championship in this weight class. So there's a lot of people that are going to be, he's going to try to make bend the knee. And so this weight class is a really good one to watch. Uh, our next one with our final quad is LT Hawkins and Hunter Douglas. Now, Landon's number 6 and Hunter's number 8. Hunter likes to shoot. Landon likes to counter. And if Landon can keep pulling off these, I don't know what the heck they are. That one, and he was like, I don't know what it was. It was, he's got some slick scramble, falls into it. It almost looks like he's meant to do it. Landon, I could see, totally taking this one out, but he's got, in his second round, he's gonna pop in to face Highland Thrine. Now, points, he got bad tape with Thrine. The Logan Frazier matchup, that one was unexpected. I didn't see it coming. Um, I still think it was a fluke, but that's my bias coming in. I think it was more of a shock value on Logan. So Landon could really get a payback on that situation. I'm sure that Crown Point would be happy. There's only another one unranked wrestler here at 132. At 138, our first one, Sonny Sessa and Jack Davis, number 11 versus number 10. Sonny's 11, Jack's 10. This one's really big. Crown Point got some awful draws. They got a couple good ones, but man, seems like our local boys got some really tough draws. I know a few other teams feel the same way, but some of these draws, I guess it's just how you fall. You dictate where you end up because you dictate who wins the match. So you got to hope that you're not drawing some hammer that just slip and not get number one or something like that. They're that, which I'm sure the way Sonny's been wrestling, he's got a really good chance to pull this one off. I think Sonny's the next match too. I could see him winning this quad outright. Our next one is Terry Easley taking on LaPorte's Josh England. England's number 8 and Easley's number 23. England is really good, really tough, really strong wrestler. Likes the ties. For a midway guy, he likes the ties, and that's really scary for a lot of these longer, skinnier, streamlined guys that are going to face him here at state. I like England's chances here. I also like his chances once he gets through against Braylon Reynolds from Brownsburg. Reynolds is a really tough wrestler, so those two right there are kind of evenly matched. That'd be a good one to watch. And then we have Evan Stanley. Now, I'm not going to call him Joe. I did that whole wrestling match, a whole duel match, and call him his dad. But Evan's really going to be tough for anyone to touch and at all. So there's going to be a really good run for him. I see nothing but daylight in front of him in this quad. He's going to be taking on Cade Zuber. He's an unranked wrestler. Cade can try to shock the world, but the way that Evan is approaching every match, it seems to be the same way every single time. Even the pacing beforehand, the slapping the body, getting yourself blood flowing, and all that stuff. Everything's the same. Nothing's different. Not a lot of words said. Just basically focused. Evan's going to be one of those guys that could really bring it home for the semi-state. I definitely see him winning this quad. Cooper Wilkins is in our next quad, taking on Gunnar Butt. Now, Cooper's number 14 and Butt's number 4. I don't care. I don't care what your ranking is. Cooper is a dog. I like watching him. Another one of the Portage wrestlers. Another really tough wrestler from the room. Wilkins trained. This kid's really tough. It's going to be fun to watch him. He wrestles similar to his dad as well. Um, I could see him winning this whole quad regardless of where he's at, because once he gets through this, he can take on Isaiah Schaefer. Now, Schaefer is on paper better, but I still see Coop being able to win this whole quad. So it's gonna be a fun one to watch. The one to pay attention to at 138 is Sessa Davis.
When life keeps you busy and you can't get to the store, shop online with Strack and Van Til To Go. Our to-go service is easy to use. Register using your rewards account information, fill your virtual cart, and choose delivery or pickup. Once your order is in, our own Strack and Van Til team preps your order with care. With our to-go service, you can earn reward points and save time and money with our online coupons and weekly ad prices. Life made simple, shopping made easy. For more information or to sign up, visit shop.strackandvantil.com.
Hi, I'm Crowd Company's Lantern Man. For years, I've helped your family and friends save on their car insurance. And now I've returned to rescue you from high prices. Whether you have a perfect driving record or a not-so-perfect record. Follow me to the Crowd Agency for immediate and affordable coverage. I'm your insurance superhero. Crowd Company's insurance professionals. Highland, Merrillville, and Michigan City.
Four Seasons Mechanical proudly serves Northwest Indiana, providing quality, reasonably priced, reliable service. With a quality and comfort guarantee, the professionals at Four Seasons Mechanical offer a wide range of services in heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. Whether it's residential or commercial, Four Seasons Mechanical is there 24/7. To find out more, the website is fourseasonsmechanical.com or give them a call at 219-756-7020. Four Seasons Mechanical, your indoor air quality specialist.
Thinking about what to do after high school? Consider a career with Boilermakers Local 374. As a Boilermaker apprentice, you'll earn while you learn. We offer excellent wages and benefits, and as part of our no-cost hands-on apprenticeship program, you'll learn from the best in state-of-the-art training centers and on the job. Become a union Boilermaker and get on your way to a great career. Find out more, visit www.local374.org or call 219-845-1000.
144, we got Jeffrey Hivart, number 1 in the state, another undefeated wrestler. He's taking Dakota Willoughby. Now, Dakota is number 23 in the state, taking on number 1, Jeffrey. Jeff's tough, man. Watching him wrestle, it's kind of like everybody in that New Prairie room. They all kind of wrestle the same, and they're really tough to stop. You got a lot of studs in that room too, a couple number 1s. That's going to be hard for anybody to mess with Hivart at this weight class, but that's why we wrestle. I see Jeffrey winning this whole quad. The cool thing about that quad is he's got number 4 in there, Hornsby, and that could be a cool one in the blood round. The next one, you got Lincoln Frazee. He'll be taking on Bryce Doss. Lincoln's 18 and Doss is number 3. I don't really care. North White's got some really good wrestlers. I could see him winning this one. There's some tough matches for him at semi-state, but I'm still pulling for him to win this one. If he can get through this, I could see him wrestling for the semis, because I can see him winning this quad. Once he gets through the first match, Frazee does really well. So if he can get through this one, I can see him winning this quad as well. Then you got Luke Reed from Valpo, number 6. He'll be taking on Alex Plahitko. He's number 16. Really hope I didn't butcher that name too much. He's number 6 versus 16. This is another really good match, but I see Luke walking away with this one. Luke's aggression and his determination right now is pretty tough. I can see him winning this one pretty easily. Our next one though is going to be nice. Number 14 versus number 8, Logan Haney taking on Sam Bustamante. Now, Logan, that kid is ups and downs. Really good wrestler. Good on his feet. When he catches fire, it's really hard to stop him. When it seems like he's having a hard time with that. But then once it gets to the mat, he starts dictating the pace, and then they get back to their feet, and he's already got that confidence going. I see Haney winning this one, and then he'll be able to take on Gibbs from Brownsburg in the blood round for that one, for the placement round. That's going to be a really good one to watch. Pay attention to one. Haney 150. We've got Dallas Davis sitting on Portage's Michael Ortega. Seems like a reoccurring situation when you talk about Portage. This time they brought 6 down to state. It's a really good job. You got Ortega at number 3, and Davison is not ranked. He's not unranked. So watching Ortega wrestle all year, finally get an opportunity to see him really show his stuff. He was in a weight class in his younger years where it was just loaded with a lot of hammers. Now he's the hammer. I see him winning this one, and the really hard thing about this one is that he's going to have to go through Silas Foster. So you have number 2 versus number 3 facing each other in the placement round match. Blood round's going to be tough on that one. Then we're going to go into Tegan Newell. He's got number 1 in the state, Ethan Doster. Now, Tegan's number 14, Doster's number 1. I don't put anything past Tegan. 106 to 150 is a huge jump, so he's got the ability to wrestle with anybody. Comp Point could really use that one. Team-wise, taking down 13 guys, they could really use those points. And knocking off on number 1 for Tegan would be really cool. I'm pulling for him on that one. Our next one, we're going to have Lincoln Carter taking on Zach Kinney of Griffith. Number 8 versus number 18. Carter's number 8, Kenny's number 18. See a lot of the 3 versus 13, 4 versus 14. This is another one of those. 8 versus 18. Now, Kenny is in the region. Everyone in the region is tough, dude. If you make in Indiana from this area, changing you just make it multiple times. That shows a lot of character. This is a one-class state, so whoever is the champ is the champ, and the top 8 that get there, those ones are usually under scholarship. The 16 that make it there are getting looked at. Everyone here in this state's really tough. Kenny's going to be another one of those guys that I think can pull off some really good wins at in that quad. If he pulls it off the whole thing in that whole quad. Our last one this week is Marlon Murphy from Maryville, number 6, taking on Brandon Shortman. That's number 6 and 15. Everybody knows Kirksey. You've watched him now. He's lightning in a bottle. When he gets low, he can pull off Burroughs low singles that look like Burroughs blast doubles, but he's low single in it. And by the time he's got you, he's already coming around the back. Kid's got skill. I see Marlon winning that whole quad. I don't really see anybody being able to touch him in there. Parker Reynolds will give him a shot, but I think Parker's going to be shocked. We have one unranked wrestler in that weight class as well. 157, you got Matthew Staples, another one of those boys in that new prayer room. Number 1, taking on Asher Ratcliffe, and number 11. This right here is another one of those really tough ones, really tough quads. This has the best record of all of them. This one's got 12. 12 losses in this quad. So we have a 12 and a 13. So those are our best 2 at 106 and 157. This weight class is tough. This has got some really good matches in it as well, especially on Friday afternoon, or this one's gonna be Friday night. There's 1 versus 11, and then that I see Matt winning that whole one, but he's gonna have the next one has number 9 and 10, and they're gonna get up so much that I think they will go through his neck. And next we got Stitz. He's through on Anthony Bustamante from Maryville, and he's on Bustamante pulls off friends, man. I don't care. He's from Maryville. Two little wrestlers. Every one of these coaches are amazing in the Dueling Deck. You see them here every single year. It's like I think they should have their own scheduled suite every single year. Watch out for Bustamante in that one. I can see him pulling off a really big win against number 3. Then we have Deacon Dressler in the next quad taking on Brant Beck. Brant Beck at number 2 taking on number 8. Another one of those key matches. You guys are Brant took a loss at his last in the semi-state against Staples. Staples looked good. But Beck looked really good, and he's a consistent guy in the finals. So Beck's one of those guys that I wouldn't be surprised to see him knock off everybody else. You've got him in the bottom area and Staples in the top. So I'm going to call it right now. You could see a Brant Beck Staples rematch of semi-state in the state finals. But one person that could have something to say with that, or something to say about that, is Griffin Van Tischel. He's going to be taking on Mason Day. These two are really familiar with each other. These teams have faced each other a few times. Mason Day's number 6 and Griff's number 7. Key match. This one's huge in the team race as well. Crown Point could really use this one, and Brownberg could as well. But of course, we want Crown Point to win this one. So I'm pulling for Griff to win that one. Really good one. Top quad in that one is the top quad in entire state bracket. Our next one is 165. Right off the bat, we've got Adrian Little Pereira Shama Palat. He's number 1 taking on unranked Carson Godinez. He's going to need God in this one because Adrian's got something for him. Adrian's going to probably walk through the entire weight. I was going to say quad, but I keep going over this weight class, and I don't see anyone that could push him at all. But there's home runs to be hit, and when you have that 0 on you, everyone's looking at you. He's the only undefeated one in this one. There's 4 unranked wrestlers in this one, but I see Adrian winning this one, no problem. Then we have number 7 versus number 15, Gavin Davis. He'll be taking on Israel Sanat from Hanover Central. Israel's number 15, and Davis is number 7. Belmont always puts out good wrestlers. This is going to be no different. Israel could really pull some weight in this one, and I could see him beating or taking on Michael Kane in blood round for that one. Could probably beat him as well. But Israel's got to really put on his best match. I think he had some matches that just didn't look right, and another one of those guys like Carter did, where he looked like he was taking a break and then just bam, 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 bam. Really did well. I'm really pulling for him to wrestle his best at state on Friday and represent. He's going to be there again probably next year, but I'd like to see Hanover get some more placers, get some more guys in the region that are placing. The more region guys in the area that are placing, the more it's going to be adding to these rooms next year. Next one's going to be Ben Clark taking on Chance McCullough. Ben is unranked, taking on number 22. I got Ben all day. Clark, boys, can't root against them. You got to watch out for them, boys. I got Ben all day in that one. If he wins that one, he's going to be taking on Michael Major which could be a really tough match for him. But boy, ride with the Clark boys until you die. You got Tegan Klaus taking on Leonardo Santiago. Santiago is number 23, and Tegan Klaus is number 14. Leo's tough. Leo's a really good wrestler, and I could see Leo putting some dents in this whole weight class too, because the way he's going, he technically to the finals until Shama, and we all know how that goes. Our next weight class, 75. Our first one is Hayden Whitenack, number seen taking on Terry, number 7. Really, I see Whitenack pulling this one off. He wrestled a couple rounds. It seemed like he was listening to a lot of instruction and not just going out with the flow. Once he started really just clicking, Hayden looked really good the rest of the day. I could see him pulling that one off, no problem. Then we have Wyatt Davis taking on Coy Bender. Wyatt's not ranked, and he's going to be taking on number 6. Coy's tough, but I could see Wyatt pulling this one off. I'd like to see Wyatt pull that one off. Like I said, I want to see all these guys pull through. Our next one has Tyson Barrow taking on Vinny Freeman. Vinny Freeman's number 3, and Barrow's number 17. Vinny really didn't put forth much effort in semi-state, and that's not a knock at him. It's a tribute to how much effort he's put in since he's been starting his high school career. Vinny has gotten so much better every single year, pretty much month. I haven't got a chance to see him in a few of the tournaments, but maybe I've seen him about 4 times this year. But every time I see him, it doesn't look like he sweats much. He's like Salas and Palat. They're tough kids from this area that really don't. They just walk through people. I can see Benny winning that one really good. But he's going to be taking on the winner of Xavier Smith and Dominic Dunn. Now, Xavier Smith's number 2. That could be a tough one, number 3 versus number 2 in the blood round. I'd like to see that one when it comes out, but I still got Freeman in that one. Elijah Carter taking on Julian Weems. Carter is unranked, taking on Weems, number 4 in the state. There's a lot of weird wrestling out there, but I'm gonna tell you right now, these two are spunky. Weems, I watched him wrestle a few years now, and he's really wiry. He's got flexibility for days, and that's the same thing with Carter. Carter's got one of those I can never put something and then blow you up when out east out. Watch out for Carter on that one. That's gonna be one of those fireworks, man. I know he's not ranked, he's going as number 4. I don't care. Carter on this one. He got our next weight 90 got Cesar Salas for taking on Austin Park ranked. When Salas gets through this match, which he will, he's on Michael White, number 4 versus number 3. I think that's gonna be one of the first guys in a while that's tested Salas. It's gonna be nice watching him put on the effort there to try to see what he can do against Salas, but I think the second round is when Salas is really going to have to start wrestling. I see him winning this first round, no problem. Then we have Ethan Farnell versus Alessio Retzloff. Retzloff is an unranked wrestler taking on Farnell, number 2. This is going to be one of those where you're going to have to throw a home run. You're going to have to be smart. You can't let this guy dictate the pace. You just got to go out there and wrestle. You're at state. You can throw out the records now. You made it. So now just do your job. I could see Retzloff doing some damage here. He's only a junior, so I'm sure we're going to see him back next year. Unranked wrestler versus number 2. I'd like to see some wins out of that one. That'd be really cool. Our next one's going to be Aiden Granger from Hobart taking on Xavier Palacios. Granger's number 20 and Palacios is number 8. Granger had a really tough road in semi. Really good wrestler. I think he got 3rd. Watching him wrestle, being that he was a backup for Tatum, it doesn't seem to me like he was a backup. It seems to me like they just didn't have enough weight classes. Good. I'd really like to see him pull this win off. He's going to be taking on another one of those Belmont boys. We know they're tough. Our final person in the quad is Devin Kendricks Har. Another one of those new boys. He's number 6, taking on Krell. Now, Dylan Krell, if you get through this one, once Kendricks gets through this, Devin's going to end up facing Gunnar Henry. Now, that's a number 6 versus number 1. I'd like to see that matchup. I don't know if those two have saw each other yet, but it'd be really cool to see them wrestle each other. I see Kendricks winning this one, and he'll end up taking the first match. The second one's going to be a matter of attrition.
With electrical services from Economy Electric Heating and Cooling, you can radiate the perfect amount of light and energy into your home. From rewiring and code upgrades to ceiling fans, lighting, security, and more, Economy Electric Heating and Cooling's trained electricians will make sure you can enjoy your home on full power all the time. For a free estimate on electrical work, call Economy Electric Heating and Cooling at 219-923-4441, and you can visit them on the web at 4ajobdoneright.com. That's the number 4ajobdoneright.com.
Earn while you learn from the best hands in the business. The Bricklayers Allied Craft Workers for Indiana, Kentucky Apprenticeship. That's right, this is a paid apprenticeship.
I'm getting an education while learning a trade and getting paid for it.
The thing that surprised me the most about this apprenticeship program is the respect I have received after the proper time and training.
Classes start soon, so apply now. There are training centers throughout Indiana and Kentucky. We are the Bricklayers and Allied Craft Workers for Indiana, Kentucky Apprenticeship. The best hands in the business.
Our 215, you got Talon Gardner, number 24, taking on Travis Hankey, number 3. Talon's got his work cut out for him in this one. A lot of matches underneath Talon. He's got 48 matches. He's a senior, too, so he's tested. Both seniors in this one. Pulling for Talon to win that one. I'd like to see that. And then you have the next. These 3 matches are all key matches. Watch these matches at 215. They're amazing. You're going to have Jaden Bartosik, number 5, versus Austin Ringeisen, number 9. These two are perfect matches for each other. Austin is not a guy you want to draw on Friday. Trust me on this. Austin's going to pull this one off after this one. Not the Austin you're thinking about. I'm talking about Reading. Jaden Bartosik is a guy also, though, as much as you're not wanting to draw Austin, when Austin saw that he had Jaden, he was probably like, oh, I'm not the guy now. I didn't want to draw him. Jaden's going to win this one. Even though it's 5 versus 9, I could see this one being a close one. But if Jaden's wrestling like he was at semi-state, Ringeisen's in trouble. Could be an early day for him. Then you go into the next one, Hartley Hoover versus Austin Redding. Redding at number 15, Hoover at number 13. Austin, here's the real Austin that you don't want to draw. This kid, 9 losses, and I don't care. I don't really think any of them are losses. 1 or 2 mistakes and a couple lessons. This kid is not one you want to draw. Really good, like he's put on. I think he's going to get a lot of points here. Our final quad is Malachi Evans from Penn, number 18, versus Derek Morrison, number 19. This one's going to be fireworks. They're the same person. They're the way they wrestle, identical. This one's going to be a great one to watch. You guys are going to like that one. There's only one unranked wrestler in this one as well. Great job by the rankers. And our final weight class, the 215 and 285 are easily my favorite. But our first one's going to be Brandon Brewer, number 23, taking on Lucas Zimborski, number 1. Now I know you guys are here at number one, and he's lost a couple of them to a guy ranked below him. But like I said, the rankings are different because they're before the sectionals. Zimborski is definitely the guy that they didn't want to see, the two they didn't want to see. Brewer is going to be a quick night for him. I think Zimborski can get this one by fall. The next quad, you got Declan Guard versus Keenan Maori Shield. Two totally different wrestlers, two totally different styles. This one's going to be really fun to watch. I want you guys watching the Declan Guard versus Keenan Maori Shield. That one, it's David and Goliath, but they're the same weight. I can't figure out which one's David and which one's Goliath, though. Really cool looking match, and that's one of them I want you guys to pay attention to. Then we got number 5, Cameron Hazlitt, taking on Manfred Osborne. Osborne is unranked. Cameron's number 5, coming in as the semi-state champ. He's gave Zimborski, I think, 3 of his losses. That's that kid right there. It's cool that we can see both of them on the opposite side, because I could see this being a Zimborski Hazlitt final again, but we're going to have to see how it plays out. Our final quad is going to have number 2, Max Forrester, taking on number 18, Luke Juris. Lucomania is going to be running wild in this match, and I'm going to call for Luke to get the upset on this one. Shock the world. Pull one of those nasty Juris lat drops and just lay there and enjoy the win. I'm gonna see, this is my home run pick. Juris over Forrester. There's 3 unranked wrestlers in this weight class too. No undefeated. Heavyweight wrestlers in Indiana, it's tough to be undefeated. Really tough wrestlers here. But just want to let you know, hurricanes and hand grenades are all about luck. But I think that Juris's home runs from the upper body ties, those are free. I could see him pulling those off, as long as we're not shooting underneath there. A lot of good wrestling coming up here tomorrow. Start. I'll be there for every session. We'll be on audio. We'll have guest commentators, and I hope you guys join us. It's going to be really good wrestling. You got IHSA Champions Network. We'll be having the video. They've got strict rights to it, but we will just have audio. We'll try to get some interviews and video in for you, but we'll see how that works out. And that's all we got for you tonight. Thanks for joining us. And like in life, on the mat, it's all about how you bounce back. I'm Danny Bell. Thanks for joining us on the Pinfall.